You know, when you take a look at this trade, who won on this side? Is it the Dallas Mavericks or is it the Lakers?
It's the Dallas Mavericks.
Breaking news out of the NBA, the Mavericks are expected to fire general manager Nico Harrison at 10 a.m. Central Time.
I feel like they got robbed of actually seeing the end, seeing this through, seeing Luka develop, into hopefully a champion one day, and it feels like they never got to see the end to this. So this was very heartbreaking, and but now it's I think it's time to move on.
When someone like Dirk Nowitzki, a man who gave Dallas almost 20 years of pure loyalty, finally snaps like that, you instantly know the whole situation reached the lowest point possible. Dirk is one of the calmest legends the league has ever seen. He never talks wild, never creates drama, never points fingers at anyone, but even he couldn't stay silent anymore. What Dirk said on Tuesday wasn't just him calling things out. It sounded like he was giving a goodbye message to a front office that completely lost control of the franchise. And honestly, you can't blame him because the signs were all there. Let's rewind for a second, because February was supposed to be the moment everything changed for Dallas. The Mavericks were just in the NBA Finals less than a year ago. Luka was putting on superstar-level performances every single night, and the roster around him finally made sense. They had real size, real defense, and athletic bigs like Gafford and Lively flying all over the court.
Trade just made no sense. It made no sense to them, and really there was no explanation for it either. You go to the finals the year before. You gave up all these assets to build really the team around Luka.
Then they added Klay Thompson to fix the shooting struggles everyone saw against Boston, and people were hyped. Everything looked perfect. The season started, and Dallas came out swinging, going 14-3 in the 17 games leading into Christmas. They weren't just solid, they looked flat out dangerous. The chemistry was real, the timing was right, and the whole vibe felt like the Mavericks were finally building something special. But then Luka went down, and that injury changed everything. That moment ended up being the last time he ever suited up for the Mavericks, because general manager Nico Harrison decided it was time to break the whole thing apart and send him to the Lakers. Like, what?
That we have is really elite, and you'll see next year when our team comes back, we're going to be competing for a championship.
Washington straight line drive.
And so the Pelicans. Black turns down the three. Oh! Klay Thompson lost it. So at this point, the mission is obvious.
Fire Nico! Fire Nico! Fire Nico!
Your superstar leads you to the finals. The whole squad is finally clicking, fans are hyped out of their minds, and instead of building on that momentum, the front office trades him away for Anthony Davis, a player who's been dealing with injuries for years. It shocked everybody. Here are the trade details. The Lakers got Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. Dallas got Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. Some fans tried to convince themselves it might work if AD stayed healthy, but let's be honest, everyone knew the risk. Dallas already understood exactly what they were stepping into, and what happened next was exactly what everyone except Nico seemed to see coming. Anthony Davis arrived in Dallas and started breaking down almost right away. Out of a possible 42 games, he's only played 14, and even that number is shaky because he walked out early in 2 of them. So technically, he's completed just 12 full games in a Mavericks jersey.
A Mavs legend, I know that your phone has been blowing up. Why did this move have to happen?
Well, I think there's just too many distractions, too much going on to keep going this way. This move should have probably happened this summer, honestly. I didn't want this negative energy and this black cloud over the Cooper Flag era, but here we are.
12, and not once has he played 5 straight games for Dallas, not a single time. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving hasn't stepped on the court all season, and Klay Thompson looks like a distant version of the player he used to be. The team that was supposed to chase a championship is now fighting just to survive in the playoff race, and that drop-off is unbelievable. And this is where Dirk Nowitzki jumps into the picture. When the news broke on Tuesday that Dallas finally fired Nico Harrison, Dirk went on TV and let it all out. He said straight up that this move should have happened in the summer, not halfway through the season when the damage was already locked in months ago. Dirk said there were way too many distractions, too much drama, and the whole energy felt like a dark cloud hanging over the team before the season even started. But the coldest moment came when he said the trade never made sense at all and that nobody ever gave a real explanation for why it happened. Then came the big question. You're a Mavs legend. I know your phone has been blowing up. Why did this move have to happen? And Dirk didn't protect anybody. He put the entire decision-making process right under a bright spotlight. This is a man who spent 21 years being the perfect teammate, the calm leader, the respectful face of the franchise, and even he couldn't defend what the front office pulled off. Here's what Dirk really exposed. Dallas spent years building the right team around Luka. They traded assets, drafted smart, and filled the roster with switchable wings, defensive pieces, and lob threats. They patched every hole that cost them the finals. The fans were locked in. The whole city was buzzing again. And right when the team was finally putting everything together, Nico Harrison tore the entire structure apart like none of it meant anything. "Fire Nico," Dirk said, and he meant it. He explained that the fans feel robbed, and he's completely right. They never got to see the ending of Luka's story in Dallas. They never got the chance to watch if he would grow into a champion with the team that developed him and believed in him from day one. That moment was taken away, and the person responsible was their own general manager. But Dirk's frustration wasn't just about losing Luka. It was about what Dallas got back in return. Because Anthony Davis isn't just someone who deals with injuries. He's basically a walking question mark with a contract that's about to drag this franchise down for years to come. Right now, Davis is making $54 million. Next season, that jumps to $58 million. In 2027, it hits $63 million. And by 2028, he'll still have one of the top 5 biggest contracts in the entire league. Just think about that for a second. A player who struggles to stay on the floor for more than a few games at a time is getting superstar money like everything is perfectly fine. He's one of the highest paid players in the whole NBA, and he's getting older and more fragile every single year. Davis is deep into his mid-30s now, moving toward year 15 in the league, and even back in his New Orleans days, he wasn't exactly the model of reliability. He never lifted those Pelicans teams the way a true franchise leader does, and that was when he was younger, fresher, and moving like a force. Fast forward a decade, more miles, more setbacks, more pressure on his body. And now, this is supposed to be the foundation of a title contender. It just doesn't add up. And here's the craziest part. His trade value right now might be the highest it'll ever be. If Dallas hangs on to him for another year or two, nobody is touching that contract. They'll be stuck paying a 30-something player over $60 million while he spends more time watching from the sideline than actually impacting games. The comparison to Kawhi Leonard fits almost too perfectly. Both guys are incredibly talented when they're fully healthy, and both bring huge questions the moment the season gets long and the pressure hits. Both of these players bounce from team to team without ever building real roots. Every season starts with the same hype. This might be the year. And then boom, they disappear right when it matters because their bodies just won't keep up. It's the same script every single time. Look at what happened with the Clippers and Kawhi these past few seasons. He didn't lift them. He held them down like an anchor. Always the big hope, never the real payoff. And if Dallas keeps Anthony Davis through 2027 and 2028, they're signing up for Kawhi 2.0 all over again, and Dirk sees it coming from a mile away. That's exactly why he's speaking out right now. But the Anthony Davis situation is only one piece of a much bigger problem. The real issue, this Mavericks team has absolutely no identity. Just look at the roster. Their veteran core is Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson, all over 30, all dealing with health concerns and all trying to play at a level their bodies can't always match anymore. Then you check the young side of the team, Cooper Flagg, Derek Lively, Max Christie, all under 23, full of raw potential but still needing time to grow and understand the league. It's like two different worlds trying to share the same locker room. And in the NBA, that mix never works. You can't chase a title while half the squad is trying to win right now and the other half is still figuring things out. At some point, you have to pick a direction and actually commit to it. Here's the cold truth. History keeps warning everyone. Teams built around stars in their 30s almost never win championships anymore. That's not someone's opinion. That's literally how the league has played out for years. And here's the next truth. Whenever a team tries to live in two different eras at the same time, it falls apart every single time. And that's exactly what Dallas is doing right now. They're trying to chase wins with aging veterans while acting like they're also building for the future, and it's blowing up right in their face. If you're a Mavericks fan, you can see the answers clearly. Watching Anthony Davis go down every other week, watching Kyrie miss the entire season, watching Klay Thompson trying to stay afloat. It all points in one direction. It's time to scrap the veteran era and move on. Start fresh with the Cooper Flagg timeline and roll with the young core that actually has a real future. There's only one veteran Dallas should even consider keeping, Kyrie Irving, he still has real game left. And if he gets healthy, he can lead, mentor, and still put up numbers while helping the young guys develop. But the one veteran they need to cut ties with is Klay Thompson. He's not the same player anymore, and keeping him around for nostalgia makes zero sense when you're trying to rebuild with a focused plan. And the one veteran they need to trade as soon as possible, Anthony Davis. His value is still decent right now, but it's dropping fast. If they wait another year or two, that contract will be untouchable. Move him now. Get young pieces, picks, whatever helps build a future that's actually stable. Keeping AD is choosing a short-term dream over long-term success, and that's a losing blueprint for any franchise trying to stay competitive. Cooper Flagg is never going to be Luka 2.0, and that's completely fine. He doesn't need to be. Flagg has the tools to become a multi-time all-star and a real franchise cornerstone in his own lane. And here's the part that hits the hardest. Dallas fans don't have any real emotional connection to Anthony Davis. He's been a Pelican, a Laker, and now a Maverick, and he never built roots in any of those cities. He's basically moving from team to team like a hired piece, not someone who's tied to the culture. Dallas isn't his home, and everybody knows it. So why would fans pour their heart into a guy who's likely gone or worn down within the next 2 years? The smartest move is to let him go now, build around Flagg and the young group, and finally create something that truly belongs to Dallas. Dirk's comments on Tuesday weren't just basketball opinions. They were about respect. Respect for the fans who stuck around through every high and low. Respect for the city. Respect for the franchise he gave 2 decades of his life to. When he said this move should have happened in the summer, what he really meant was simple. Nico Harrison never should have made that trade in the first place. The black cloud he talked about wasn't just negative energy. It was the shadow of a front office mistake that crushed everything the Mavericks spent years building. It was about taking the future away from the fans and replacing it with an aging veteran locked into a brutal contract. And fans aren't just gonna brush that off like nothing happened. Not after everything they've been through, and not after watching their franchise lose the one superstar who truly felt like home. Dirk said it himself. This fan base is loyal, emotional, and ride or die. They backed him for 21 years through everything, from the championship run to the rebuild years, and they deserve way better than what they ended up with. They deserve to watch Luka's entire journey unfold in Dallas, not see it get cut short for a move that never made sense in the first place. Instead, they got a general manager who panicked after one injury and made one of the roughest trades the league has seen in years. The Mavericks aren't just struggling on the court, they're struggling with their entire identity. No direction, no clear long-term plan, nothing that fans can truly trust or stand behind. Dirk said this team needs all the support it can get, and he's absolutely right. But fans can't rally behind a group that doesn't even know what it stands for. There has to be a real vision. There has to be accountability. Firing Nico Harrison is a step in the right direction, but that's only step one, the very beginning of a much bigger reset. The next GM has to walk in, look at this roster with zero emotion, and make the tough decisions this franchise has been avoiding. That means trading Anthony Davis while his value hasn't fully dropped. That means moving on from older vets who aren't pushing the team forward. And it means going all in on the Cooper Flagg timeline, with Kyrie serving as the veteran bridge who can guide the young core while still delivering real production. The path forward isn't complicated. It's just painful. You can't stand in 2 eras at the same time. And Dallas has finally reached the moment where they must pick a direction and commit to it. Either you chase a title with an older core, or you build something new with the young guys. There is no middle ground. And after everything that went down, the choice for Dallas should be crystal clear. Build around the young dudes, let Cooper Flagg grow into the player everyone knows he can be. Surround him with teammates who fit his timeline and can grow right beside him. Keep Kyrie around as the veteran leader and mentor, and move on from anyone who doesn't match the future this franchise needs. It sounds cold, maybe even ruthless, but this league is a business, and winning requires tough choices. If the Mavericks want to chase championships again, if they want their fans to believe in the franchise the way they used to, this is the only direction that actually makes sense. Dirk Nowitzki never wanted to be the person calling out the team he poured his heart into. You could hear it in his voice, the sadness, the frustration, the disappointment, all mixed together. But someone had to speak up. Someone had to hold the front office accountable for one of the most confusing, hard-to-defend moves the league has seen in years. Trading Luka Doncic less than a year after making the finals, right when the team was finally connecting, shocked everyone. And replacing him with an injury-prone veteran on a massive contract is exactly the type of decision that gets a GM sent out the door. And now, it finally happened. Nico Harrison is gone. The black cloud is finally starting to fade, but the damage is already locked in. and it's going to take years to rebuild everything that fell apart because of one reckless February gamble that never should have been made in the first place. Mavericks fans deserve to watch Luka grow into a champion in Dallas. They deserve to see the final squad run it back one more time and build on everything they worked so hard for. Instead, they ended up with Anthony Davis giving them just 12 full games in half a season, Kyrie stuck on the injury list, Klay Thompson looking like he's running on fumes, and a front office that gambled away their future on a move almost everybody saw going wrong from a mile away. And now Dirk Nowitzki, the greatest Maverick in history, is on national TV saying out loud what the whole fan base has been whispering for months. This whole situation has been a full-on circus from day one. The real question now is simple. Can Dallas actually learn from this disaster, or are they about to repeat the same mistakes all over again? Can they finally walk away from the failed veteran experiment and commit to the young core? Can they move Anthony Davis before his value slips even further? Can they build a culture that respects the fans instead of making panic moves that send the franchise backward for years at a time? Those answers will come with time, but one thing is already locked in. Dirk just made it impossible for anyone to act like everything is fine. He said what everyone else was scared to say, even though it clearly hurt him to put it out there. And sometimes that's what legends do. They drop the truth when nobody else will. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.